Hello and welcome to Granada Reports, live with the latest across the northwest.
Hello, good to have you with us on the programme this evening.
She's the little girl puppet with the giant message. Tonight, little Amal finishes her journey right here in Manchester, and I'll be live shortly at the Castlefield Bowl, where that journey is due to conclude.
Also on the programme. Ahead of bonfire nights, the warning about onion bombs, the professional fireworks that could be fatal in the wrong hands.
Why have I not listened to people saying fireworks are dangerous? Because you just never believe it till it actually happens to someone you know or to yourself.
The row over the multi-million-pound plans to regenerate Wigan town centre, which means the clock is ticking for the town's famous market.
And the winds in the north. It was a cold wind today, but what are the prospects for tomorrow, bonfire night and the weekend? I'll let you know very soon.
First tonight, her name means hope, and little Amal's giant steps have brought her to Manchester in her long search for a new home.
Our region has a proud history of embracing refugees and those fleeing war and persecution.
The giant's puppet has walked 5,000 miles from the border of Turkey and Syria across Europe before making it to Wigan and Rochdale, and her final destination in Manchester.
Amal represents the millions of displaced children who've been forced to leave their homeland in search of safety. Among the many crowds who've come out to see her are refugees who've made the northwest their home.
We can cross live to Manchester's Castlefield Bowl to our reporter Victoria Grimes. Vicky.
Well, Gamal, an epic journey indeed. 5,000 miles little Amal has travelled, and where better to welcome her to her final destination than that community here in Manchester, which has shown such compassion and kindness to the many refugee families and communities that we have in this region. Now, she's had a very busy day, little Amal. She has been at one of Manchester's most famous landmarks, as Rachel Townsend now reports.
Many famous stars have emerged from the Old Trafford tunnel, but no one quite like this. They say football is universal, and today this 3.5-metre puppet, now known across the world, gave these Manchester school children moments to treasure.
I think it's been from all the way from Syria, and it's travelled all around the world, and now it's came to Manchester to see all of us. It was really, joyful.
It was really, really big. She gives hugs and she bows to new people that she sees.
It's a very diverse city, and everyone's really welcome in this place and in Manchester, and obviously it's great for the kids to be involved and get down and experience something like this.
Amal is thousands of miles from home. In July, she began a journey from the Syrian border that took her 5,000 miles across Europe. She captured the hearts of hundreds of thousands of people around the world, and then thousands more here in the northwest. Preparations to welcome Amal began weeks ago. This group of refugees in Manchester have been making decorations and gifts for her. In Amal, they see themselves and they see their children.
They all have children. They should think about their children. She is looking for the family. She is looking for the love. Please, people, just think as a human.
Marzia Karkale is a refugee from Afghanistan. She was a court judge there, but was forced to give up everything.
2 times Taliban tried to kill me. And I became nothing when I arrived in the UK as a refugee. As a judge, I became nothing.
Mariatu Sese fled war-torn Sierra Leone and is currently seeking asylum in the UK. She hopes that Amal may help humanise displaced people everywhere.
The name asylum seeker make people feel like, oh, they're here to take our jobs, right, and our benefit, right? No, we just want our dignity. We just want to come to the community and work for the community and be part of that community and just be happy again.
Since her arrival on Sunday, Amal has received kindness and compassion from people across the northwest. The Mayor of Greater Manchester, Andy Burnham, was among those who braved the rain in Wigan. And later, from the COP26 summit, he said the experience was an emotional and important one.
We've always been a place that's welcomed people in need of safety. And I'm proud that Greater Manchester has always stood for that. But at the same time, we need other places to support us and not leave us alone to do that.
And in recognition of the role this region has played in welcoming people, Amal has chosen here to end her epic journey. Many believe Amal has united communities, young in age but giant in stature, and her message to the world not to forget displaced children is one that has been heard loud and clear. And tonight she will have one last hurrah. Rachel Townsend, ITV News, Manchester.
Well, little Amal will be here very shortly. She's due to put on an amazing show. 4,000 people will be here at the Castlefield Bowl a bit later to see her. Tickets sold out within minutes. Tracy, you produced this epic show that's seen this huge journey. Tell us about what's happening tonight.
Well, I mean, I produced it in association with my friend David Lan and Good Chance Theatre, but this evening is a very special event because obviously it's the culmination of 5,000 miles. We started on the Syria border at the end of July. This is our final night of the great mammoth project, The Walk. We are so delighted to be in Greater Manchester and in Manchester. Yesterday we were, of course, in Rochdale. A city that is thriving with welcome, amazing community engagement and brilliant artistry as well.
Is that why you chose Manchester to be the final destination?
We chose Manchester, she chose Manchester, Manchester chose us. Manchester chose us. It's an amazing place, because the cultural tradition and tradition of welcome, which is so fundamental to your city as well, it's amazing to be here.
Well, I think that's something which people have remarked upon a lot, is that culture of welcome that we do have here in the Northwest. And I know that you've worked extensively sort of with refugees in Calais. We were over in Greece and Macedonia about 5 or 6 years ago, and we sort of saw for ourselves the plight of the people there and what they were going through. And some of the stories that I heard when I was over there, I think will stay with me forever, because so many of these people have been through such horrific things.
In a way, that is the basis of this project. And we started a project which was about hope. We also started the project which is the fundamental message of it, which is don't forget about us. Hundreds of thousands of people are on the move. 80 million people displaced in the world. 50% of them are children. We cannot forget them. We cannot forget their stories.
And Buki, we'll come over to you now as well, because you work a lot, don't you, with refugee communities here in the Northwest. What's their response been? And tell us a little bit about this beautiful quilt you've made. I think we've got a shot of it there.
Well, this quilt, we really wanted to welcome Amal with something that she can keep, something to wrap around, and something really physical to show that we as a people of Manchester really care about her and want her to feel welcome. So we went around different boroughs working with different refugee communities to write messages of welcome in art forms, so printing, stitching, writing, all in different languages, just to say Amal and refugees in general, you are welcome here in this city and you're welcome here in Greater Manchester.
Oh, an absolutely fantastic message. And it's hard not to think of her as a person now. I mean, she is, isn't she? Everything she embodies. Just quickly.
She's a huge girl. She's very strident, she's very powerful, she has a lot to say, and I'm sure she's going to have a lot to say in the future as well.
I'm sure she will. Thank you guys for joining us. Much appreciated. And yes, we'll have a special report on the late news when we'll be showing you Amal and her final appearance here at the Castlefield Bowl.
It is such a powerful message, Vicky. Thank you. Now, with many of the official bonfire displays cancelled this year, there's a warning from a teenager who knows only too well about the dangers of fireworks.
Yes, 16-year-old Rio Divney from Oldham is recovering after an industrial firework exploded in his hands. He spent 4 nights in hospital after the incident last month, with doctors telling him his injuries could have been far worse.
Fire safety experts say onion bombs are particularly dangerous, as our correspondent Andy Bonner reports.
They are industrial fireworks meant for professional displays. But as this safety video shows, in the wrong hands, onion bombs can be fatal. The video was already online before Rio Divney took an onion bomb and lit it.
My friend brought this firework out and said to me, he said, there's a firework there, so I thought, nothing of it. Got the firework, went to light it, within about 2 seconds it just blew up. I blacked out for about 20 seconds and I was like, what's happened? Looked at my hand and it was just in pieces.
Literally, it blew his thumb clean off. They had to rebuild his thumb with pins. It's got 4 pins sticking out where they had to rebuild it. We're really lucky that he still got a face, to be honest.
I know.
That would have banged his face. You just couldn't think of the consequences, could you? What could have actually happened?
Rio will spend months recovering, but doctors say his injuries could have been far worse. Ahead of the busiest night of the year, the fire service says fireworks should be bought only from reputable dealers. Better still, go to public displays so you don't end up like Rio.
I'm pleased he's still alive because it could have so easily killed the young man. Obviously he's got some injuries that he needs to recover from and our thoughts are with him on that. I'd want that to be a lesson to all the young people of Greater Manchester. Industrial fireworks are not something to be messed around with.
Why have I not listened to people saying fireworks are dangerous? Because you just never believe it till it actually happens to someone you know or to yourself. Don't take fireworks off people and don't buy fireworks off people because you never ever know what you're getting. And now I nearly lost my hand and possibly could have lost my face.
Rio's apprenticeship as a joiner is on hold while he waits to get the use of his hand back. He knows it's only luck that his split-second decision to light a firework didn't leave him with life-changing injuries. Andy Bonner, ITV News, Oldham.
Next, visiting has been temporarily suspended for 2 weeks at Stepping Hill Hospital in Stockport due to the high COVID infection rates. It means family members will only be able to see patients in exceptional circumstances. The hospital says requests for visits will be treated on a case-by-case basis and must be made in advance. Now to the former Premier League footballer who's now on a mission to help boys and young men face down demons like depression and anxiety.
In a career spanning 18 years, goalie Chris Kirkland played for Liverpool, Wigan Athletic and represented England. But in the later years of that career, Chris was secretly living with depression.
Well, one lesson he learned was that keeping mental health problems a secret was the worst way of dealing with them.
So he launched a new project called Make Talk Your Goal with the help of Edgehill University in Lancashire and St Bede's High School in Ormskirk. And a short time ago, he told us they've made a video to help encourage people to talk.
Making people feel comfortable, knowing that they can talk about it. I think it's more open now than it ever has been the last 2 years, probably. Mental health's talked about every day. The help's there if they needed it. All they've got to do is be brave and ask for help. And once they do, you know, they can start to hopefully get better.
Chris, why is the campaign focusing on boys and young men? I mean, do they still have an issue speaking up if they're struggling?
Suicide's the biggest killer in men. I think it's between 25 and 50. So there's a massive, massive problem. Young lads, you know, it's the macho thing as well. Don't want to be seen to be weak in front of their friends or you know, other people at the school. So we did target the school got in touch with me, St Bede's, the headmaster there, and said, look, will you be able to come in and talk to the lads, share your experiences with them, and hopefully, you know, these were lads that were potentially struggling. And when I went in and talked to them, it was incredible. They all opened up, said stuff they've never said before. So the school got back in touch, said, look, we've never had a response like that from the lads. They've come to see us and asked if we can do something else. This is the idea of the programme. Let talk be your goal. Will you get on board with it? And, you know, kids are basically been told to stay in the rooms and keep away from people. So there's a lot of people that are struggling.
There's huge pressure on young people, as you say, but you'd hidden your anxiety for some time. When did you hit rock bottom?
Well, I was away in Portugal pre-season with Berry, and you know I didn't want to go. I knew something was going to happen if I did go, but I think it needed to. So you know, I was just stood on a roof one night and contemplating jumping off. But then I just felt a tug back, and I knew it was my wife and my daughter, you know, from afar. And that's when I rang my wife and said, "Look, I need to get help." And she flew me back the day after, and that's when I went to the PFA and asked for help. And as soon as I did it, as I said, it was a huge weight off the shoulders.
That must have been a terrifying experience for you and your family. Do you think the fact that you were a successful sportsman meant you felt you had to hide it for so long?
I just didn't know what it was. I thought, you know, I'll snap out of it next week. I'll get used to the travelling. But you don't. You just get sucked further and further away from people. You shut yourself off. You don't want to do anything when you get home. I was shutting the gates. I don't think I went out socially for about 6 to 8 months. I'm not going to sit here and say everything's rosy every day, because it's not, because that's just not life. I still have my tough days, but I'm better equipped now. I know if I go out for a walk, or if I do exercise or talk to people, that's sort of my therapy now, to keep on top of things.
Yeah, yours is a remarkable story, Chris. Just finally, how do our viewers find out more about Make Talk Your Goal?
Yeah, so if you go on to maketalkyourgoal.com, everything will be on there. The launch night was last night. We've seen the film we made, the documentary. It's hard. It's a tough watch. There's some real, sad moments in there where some of the lads open up about suicide and about their thoughts that they've been having. So it is a real tough watch, but it's one that's needed.
Chris, it's been great to chat. Look after yourself. Many thanks indeed for your time. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.
Yeah, really interesting conversation. Thanks again to Chris for sharing his story with us. Here's what's still to come on the ITV News at 6:30 with Lucrezia.
The shocking scale of the UK's social care crisis. ITV News learns of the staggering rise in the number of people waiting for care, the effect of increasing struggle to find staff. Anger as MPs vote against suspending the Conservative MP Owen Paterson after he was found to have broken lobbying rules. And
so I asked for the third time, and then she looked at me and she said, "My name's Cleo."
a family now whole again. The remarkable rescue of 4-year-old Cleo Smith in Australia, missing for almost 3 weeks. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Well, next, the multi-million-pound plans to transform the town centre of Wigan, which has provoked fury among its market traders.
It has indeed. Councillors have approved plans to demolish the market and part of the Galleries shopping centre, which has been there 30 years, and replace them with apartments and leisure facilities, with developers hoping to attract more than just shoppers.
But as Claire Hannah reports, thousands have signed a petition calling for the plans to be scrapped.
Like many of our cities and towns, Wigan has changed a lot over the years, but now the biggest change for the town centre for decades has been announced. A £135 million plan, which will see more than 400 new homes, a cinema, a bowling alley, entertainment venues and a new market.
These plans were given the green light by the council yesterday and will see Wigan Market completely demolished. The council says it's to reduce reliance on retail in the town centre, but a lot of market traders here not very happy.
Disgraceful. It's all been brought in under the cover of COVID. The people don't know about it. The people don't want it.
The market is only 30 years old. The galleries itself, we've no objection to change. We understand there's going to be change. We accept that. But after 30 years, we were promised when they built this market that it would last for at least 100 years.
Ahead of yesterday's meeting, a petition with more than 7,000 signatures was handed in. And at the meeting itself, tempers boiled over.
Have you got any conscience in? Because you have to think long and hard before you go for this proposal.
But Kathleen Lee, whose family's been trading in Wigan Market for more than 100 years, has told us the council just didn't listen.
I actually felt physically sick when they showed us the view from the park coming across this way, and it was just a block, a solid block, and it was terrifying. I thought, people haven't got a clue what we're going to be looking at. The market hall, the galleries complex, as you walk through towards Wilko, everything's going to be gone. Everything's going to be boarded up and it's going to be dust and a building site.
Work is due to start in January next year and it's expected to take about 2 years.
Well, we will be here for the whole time of the demolition. However, in that timescale, I suspect a lot of traders will struggle to actually keep their businesses going when all the other shops around the town will be closed. All of the galleries that have been knocked down will not be here.
Wigan Council didn't have anyone available to speak to us today, but did give us a statement. It says they'll be meeting with market traders next week, where one of the things they'll be talking about is how the council can help them, with one option being financial support. The council also says it's vital to create exciting and welcoming town centres to help support local jobs and businesses, but traders here think this will have the opposite effect. Claire Hannah, ITV News, Wigan.
And finally this evening, a story of real courage and determination. A teenager from St Helens has just walked 1,000 miles to raise money for charity.
And that's no mean feat, as Melissa McComas has a genetic condition which seriously impacts her mobility and triggers seizures.
Our correspondent Rob Smith has been following Melissa's story.
Good girl. There's Teddy. Can't see his t-shirt. There he is.
Walking's never been easy for Melissa McComas because of a genetic condition. So a sponsored walk for charity was a huge target.
We're still going. Away.
Walking 1,000 miles for charity, beyond anything she ever dreamt. It included reaching the top of Snowdon alongside a team of climbers who lifted her when needed. With help from her mum, the 18-year-old told me how it all felt via a talking tablet.
It was amazing to conquer Snowdon. I feel really proud of myself. Yeah.
Melissa from St Helens has Angelman syndrome, which affects mobility, speech and triggers seizures. It also means she smiles at the world almost constantly. Her family's stunned at what she's achieved.
She amazes me every day. Every single day she amazes me by doing something that I never thought she would. We started out just doing a few minutes each day, just sort of round the corner, around the block, to the park and back. So as we went on, the steps just added up to miles, and then we sort of thought, hang on, we might have been able to achieve this.
I guess pride isn't a strong enough word.
It isn't, and just to see the pride on her face as I was showing her the miles on my telephone that was linked to my Fitbit, she sort of, well, let's just keep going.
Melissa's walk was mirrored by fundraisers worldwide for the Steve Prescott Foundation. But she raised the most money, a fact not lost on her loved ones.
It's inspiring that she's managed to come so far and develop so strong in walking and getting about on her own. It's just amazing to see the challenges she's overcome, and they're all for great causes too, so it adds to it. It's amazing.
An amazing journey in more ways than one. Rob Smith, ITV News, St Helens.
And there are more details of Melissa's brilliant fundraiser on our website right now, itv.com/Granada. And now for the weather, here's John.
That sunshine really made your eyeshadow pop, you know? And you put the wipe in the bin, not the toilet.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Go ahead, Queen.
Hello, good evening. Bit of a mixed bag today weather-wise. I think most of us have seen some sunshine though, like here at Mellor of the Ribble Valley in Lancashire earlier on this morning. And at the coast, what a lovely morning it was here at Morecambe. Beautiful sky there looking to the north, but a cold northerly wind blowing. Now the sun might be low in the sky at the moment, but it's still got enough strength to cause the steam to burn off that damp fence in Darwin. So we've got a cold northerly wind on the weather chart at the moment. We're going to lose that over the coming days. As we head through tomorrow into bonfire night, the wind will go more around to a westerly direction, so it won't be quite so chilly. Some rain coming through during the course of Saturday. So back to this evening and overnight tonight, it should stay mostly fine, and it's going to be cold towards the end of tonight. South Lakeland, up the Lune Valley, the Pennines, the Peak District, there could be a touch of frost. Temperatures dipping down to around 0 Celsius. And here's a lovely sunrise at Ashton in Makerfield. The sun's up tomorrow at 7:16. It's setting again at 4:32. Now, there might just be a shower tomorrow, especially out towards the Isle of Man, but for most of us it's going to be a dry day. Plenty of sunshine, but once more, don't let that fool you. That northerly wind is going to be cold. On the thermometer, 9 or 10 Celsius, but adding that wind, it'll feel more like 5 or 6 Celsius. And a fine evening to round things off tomorrow evening. Then as we head through into Friday, a cold, frosty start to come, but as we head through the day, there'll be plenty of sunshine coming through. It will be increasingly cloudy, top temperatures 10 Celsius, and the weekend is mild but cloudy. See you later.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Those eyebrows are unreal.
John, thank you. And that is it for this evening. In the late news, we'll have all the scenes from that party for the little girl giant Amal in Manchester. And just briefly to another giant figure, Sir Barry Gibb from the Bee Gees.
Yes, they're often referred to as a Manchester band because the Gibb brothers were brought up in Chorlton in South Manchester. But they were born on the Isle of Man.
Interesting stuff. And today, a new set of stamps honouring Sir Barry was brought out on the island. The singer says he is very proud of his Manx roots, who wouldn't be, and that appearing on the stamps is an honour and it's an absolute privilege.
And you know, you've arrived when you appear on a new set of stamps, but sadly, that will never happen to us, will it?
Yeah, I don't think it will. As ever, many thanks indeed for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.